welcome to I24 News Sports Daily Magazine with all the latest scores and stories from around the world. A busy show is coming your way, and we begin with football. It's a night of friendly internationals, but one of them is much more than just a friendly. The last match for Germany was that World Cup final against Argentina at the Maracanã almost 2 months later. Germany plays for the first time since that night. The rivals are again Argentina. Any match between these two superpowers is a big event. For the Germans, it's even bigger, as it is the first chance for the local crowd to watch their world champion heroes. 45,000 fans came just to watch the team train ahead of the match. But despite all the emotion, for manager Joachim Löw, it's not the past that matters, but the future, and he's not afraid to set the bar high.
I think our next big aim after the 2014 World Cup final in Rio de Janeiro should be and must be to reach the Euro final in Paris, even if it is still a long time to go until then. The journey actually starts with our next game on Sunday against Scotland.
On the other side is Argentina, who is beginning a new era with a new manager. Gerardo Tata Martino is now the man in charge, replacing Alejandro Sabella, who stepped down following the World Cup. In his first test, Martino will miss Argentina's biggest player, and his player last year in Barcelona, Leo Messi, who is out with a leg injury. In his first meeting with the players since his appointment, the new boss wanted to hear what his players think and feel before determining who will be his 11 men on the pitch.
In relation to the team, the most important thing is for me to speak with the players who haven't been playing recently, those who played on the weekend and those who might have minor knocks. So today's training will help determine the team that will play.
And we have some other international friendlies tonight. England will play for the first time since the disappointing first-round exit in the World Cup. The Three Lions will host Norway in Wembley. And what do the fans think of the team? The expectations are for an all-time low, with only 40,000 people expected to attend the match. This will also be the first game for Wayne Rooney as the new England captain. The United States, which was very impressive in the World Cup, will face the Czech Republic in Prague. And Russia, the host of the next World Cup, will face Azerbaijan and Moscow. The window transfer in European football ended on Monday night. Some transfers were made in the final day, and the teams are now presenting their new acquisitions. One of them is Fernando Torres, who moved from Chelsea to Milan. Both the club and the player have struggled to find their best form over the last few seasons, and the expectations now in northern Italy are that the move would benefit both sides. The Spanish striker is expected to fill the gap left by Mario Balotelli, who moved to Liverpool. The Mighty Reds were one of the two clubs Torres played for in the Premier League, and despite moving away, he did not forget them.
I get this opportunity to thank my two clubs in England, really. I had 7 fantastic seasons over there, thanks to Liverpool to give me the opportunity to go to the Premier League, where I had a fantastic time, thanks to Chelsea for giving me the opportunity to play for them and win so many major trophies. But after 7 seasons, I had in my mind that I needed a change. I needed a new challenge. And
Not a tennis, and the heat is on at Flushing Meadows, not only on the court. Temperatures are soaring high, but that did not stop the favorites from moving through. Roger Federer, Thomas Berdych, and Gael Monfils booked their spot in the quarterfinals. Samuel Calvo and Michael Friedman with a story.
The U.S. Open had 2 French players yesterday, but only one would be victorious after Gilles Simon's disappointing loss to Croatian Marin Cilic.
Well, I know what to expect against him, and today was no surprise for me, but even if I always beat him before, it was always very long and very, very hard, and I think he just deserved to win this time.
The exciting 5-set match was completed in 4 hours and 13 minutes as Cilic won 5-7, 7-6, 6-4, 3-6, 6-3. This was the first time the 16th ranked Croatian beat the French player. It started well for Simon, who took the first set 7-5, but the following sets were too difficult as he suffered from back pain. Simon bounced back again in the 4th set with a 6-3 win, but Cilic would find the strength to win the final set over the Frenchman.
Second time in my career that I played that I'm going to be in the quarterfinal for 2 straight majors. First was 2009 over here, then Australia 2010, and it shows me that I'm really playing well, and especially at these big tournaments I'm improving.
Gael Monfils would be more fortunate, who now qualified for the quarterfinals of the US Open for the second time of his career. Grigor Dimitrov would prove to be a challenging opponent for the Bulgarian, who would fall short to Monfils 7-5, 7-6, 7-5.
23, but I don't want to think that I'm young or something like that. I want to win majors, so that's my main goal. I'm not satisfied with my results so far, even though I've done probably. I've come into my best year of my tennis career. I'm just, not even close to being satisfied.
Despite it being the highest day of the tournament, with temperatures reaching 35 degrees, it would not prevent the 24th ranked Frenchman from beating the 8th ranked Bulgarian in just 3 sets.
Put me in the quarterfinal, I guess. I think I always played good, always played solid, and sometimes it just didn't happen. Like the thing. I remember here played a good 4th round against Rafa, but he just was better than me. I remember, I always have tough battle, here or around here or at the French. So for me, it's just I'm happy.
The world number 7, Thomas Berdych, easily won against the Austrian Dominic Thiem in 3 sets, 6-1, 6-2, 6-4. Berdych would teach the young Austrian player a lesson after winning in just an hour and 38 minutes. Berdych will now face Marin Cilic in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have some lights here, so that's gonna be good, and we can finish it in the good way, and it's gonna be a nice, I would say, rematch. And Marin played really a good match today, especially.
This was the first time for Roberto Bautista Agut to face Roger Federer as the Spaniard took a beating. The 19th ranked Spaniard was no match against the Swiss, and Roger won in straight sets in just an hour and 56 minutes. The Swiss will face Gael Monfils in the quarterfinals.
I felt like I had maybe some margin. I don't know if that was something I was trying to tell myself, or but he hasn't got the biggest game, but he's consistent. He's fast. He can adapt. So he's got things that can make you feel uncomfortable.
The next match to follow are between Monfils and Federer, and Cilic against Berdych.
Now to the women's tournament and to one player who sent a very clear message in the quarterfinal. Caroline Wozniacki was a world number 1 4 years ago, but she's never won a Grand Slam tournament. Maybe now is the time. Her best achievement was the final at Flushing Meadows in 2009. She's now only 1 step away from repeating that. The Dane was very impressive in her quarterfinal match, putting Italian Sara Errani away in just 65 minutes. They're separated by only 3 spots in the WTA rankings, but the gap seemed much wider on the court. Wozniacki easily wins 6-0, 6-1. She will now face China's Shui Peng in the semi. The biggest favorite is, of course, the defending champion Serena Williams, but the world number 1 may be facing some serious trouble. Serena and sister Venus Williams lost the quarterfinal of the doubles tournament to the Russian couple, Makarova and Vesnina, but that was not the biggest story. Early in the second set, Serena had to ask for a medical timeout to treat a right foot injury. She returned to play, but was obviously suffering. When did you ever see Serena double fault twice in a row? It happened on the final 2 points of the games. The Williams sisters are out of the doubles tournament, and of course the big question is how severe is the injury and what will happen in the singles. If you're an equestrian fan, this is your time of the year. The World Equestrian Games are on in Normandy. This is the biggest event in the sport outside the Olympics, and I24 News head of sports Valérie Perez spoke with the director of the tournament, Fabien Grobon.
So, how is it going? I think that we're not far from the end of the competition in under a week, right?
We're in the middle right now, so it's not really the end, and so far everything is great. We see great advancements now that all the stadiums are completely full. There's more than 250,000 people that have come to see the competition, so it's great. Of course, there's also celebrations, as the World Games are not only about high-level competitions, but also about all the equestrian culture. At the Games Village in Cannes, we have already greeted 111,000 people.
How do you explain this enthusiasm about equestrian sports? It's quite new, isn't it?
It's not new for us, just for the general public or for the people that aren't that close to the subject. You know, this sector gathers around 700,000 people per week in France, and it's the third federation after football and tennis. In Normandy, we talk about an annual turnover of 1 billion euros, 12,000 employees, and 500 clubs. There are many people that are passionate about this sport. I also think it is a society trend. It's a sport with great values. It happens in the nature. There's a link with the animal. Maybe we are in the right place at the right time, as Normandy is the epicenter of the equestrian sport. As you said, it's the World Championship, the biggest sporting event one can see in the equestrian sector, and it happens every 4 years. This will be the biggest sporting event of the year in France, with an expected total of 540,000 visitors and 1 billion viewers in the world. So it might be the time for horse riding to reach its peak.
During the competition, there was a horse accident which happened as Costa Rican Claudio Romero's horse Dorado died while in a collision with a tree. Romero also injured her face. Then in another stage of the competition, there was a horse who suffered a heart attack as the race was finished. What do you think of these events?
Along with the International Federation for Equestrian Sports, we have the security of riders and horses at the center. We also have a huge and crucial follow-up of the horses, really well structured and developed. Taking care of the horses is one of the major things we have to do. About the endurance of the race, it's something that cannot be predicted. It's a horse that runs away and finds a tree on its way. It's something we couldn't predict. It happens, and it's something really sad. In the second case, it's something that happened in spite of all the measures we had. You know, in the complete race, there is something that we call the cooling zone. Horses are taken care of by vets as soon as they finish their race. And really, in this case, the English horse just collapsed. You said it was a heart attack, but the autopsies are still going on, so we aren't sure of the causes yet. But it's important to remark on the great professionalism of the English Federation, which worked with us during this sad situation. The rider himself also talked about it, and unfortunately, these things happen.
Yes, we saw he had a lot of emotions in his voice. So from your point of view, are the tracks too hard?
I think everyone agreed that there is nothing to do with the tracks. There is an investigation on the first case. I saw the photos. The horse didn't stop at any moment. Neither did he slow down, nor did he slip. He just ran straight in a turn, and unfortunately, there was a tree. All the witnesses that saw the action agrees that the rider wasn't able to control her horse, but I think she will tell her side of the story after she leaves the hospital. And again, in the second case, it's something that happened in public, in front of a crowd of vets, and all the horses that ran onto the track recovered well. We also had agreed with the International Federation of Equestrian Sports to lower the level of difficulty of the tracks by shortening it because of the rain. This was making it more technical, and the riders actually believed it was not dangerous and on par to a World Championship competition.
Thank you, Fabien Grobon, for answering your questions. What we will take from this competition is the beautiful sport. Here at I-24, we follow closely the continuity of the trials.
And now, here is something for our Daredevil viewers. If you thought bungee jumping is scary, well, maybe it's time you meet the scarier younger brother. Road jumping is now taking center stage. Here's how it looks.
Move over bungee jumping and make way for rope jumping. A variation on the extreme sport that promises a longer free fall and greater thrills.
Just like bungee many years ago, it was, a toddler. Now it's a grown thing. It will be the same with rope jumping because it's even better. It's even better than bungee, and it's even better than base jumping because everyone can do it.
Here, high above the famous Navigo or shipwreck beach on the Greek island of Zakynthos, a team of Polish thrill seekers have rigged up a web of ropes that, rather than springing the jumper vertically back up, swing them in a pendulum motion just before they hit the ground.
Dream Jump to jest układ lin,
Dream Jump is a system of ropes that gives everyone the chance to jump.
Każdy z biurka może...
Anyone at any age can just walk out of their office and do it.
Prawie w każdym wieku może spróbować.
Marta is already hooked on the sport and drops the full 200 meters to the beach below.
It was not really I choose it. It came to me, you know. First time I try a little jump, and then every time you jump, you want more and more and more, and then you end in this kind of jumps.
The death-defying opportunity won't last. Thomas and his team are taking their so-called dream jump around the world in search of the planet's most thrilling natural highs.
Go!
And that's it for us today. Thank you for watching and have a beautiful day.